Could you imagine? Could you imagine what a prime Gennady Golovkin would do to a Korobov? Okay, could you imagine? Close your eyes. Think about it. We're talking a prime, like, go back to like Gabriel Rosado, Martin Murray, Curtis Stevens, Daniel Gill. The list goes on and on. We're talking about that Gennady Golovkin. What would he do to what's his name, Korobov, right? What would he do? I tell you what he'd do. He would knock him out in about 3 or 4 rounds. He'd probably carry him maybe to the midway point to give fans like their money's worth or whatever. But that's what would happen, So here we have Charlo, right? Charlo, taking on Korobov. A lot of people out there felt he lost. I did too. Maybe a draw at best. At best he struggled, right? He stepped it up, and struggled. A seasoned guy, whatever. And again, I'm just going to repeat myself. It is that important. It is that damn important. What would Golovkin have done to this guy? Now, read the title here. Charlo has trouble beating a replacement opponent. Fanboys. Charlo is the champ. Heart of a lion. Golovkin is ducking him, right? Boom. Gennady Golovkin easily destroys a replacement opponent. Fanboys. Golovkin is a cherry picker. He's all hype. He got exposed. I mean, this is the crap that we hear from other YouTube channels. I mean, this is it right here in a nutshell. Okay, in a nutshell, this is it. I could probably put 10 links in the box below about how, Charlo won the fight. Golovkin got exposed, back when he fought Vanez Marty Rose and this kind of, that it's ridiculous, people. And I just want to point that out. Now, also, I kind of need to bring something up, okay? Charlo, let's talk about the Charlo-Harrison fight. I put out a video, okay, and, I basically said it was a robbery. He won that fight, hands down. And, you guys have me second-guessing myself, so congratulations. It doesn't happen often, but I'm literally second-guessing myself. Maybe I got it wrong. I haven't gone back and I watched it twice, like I said originally, once with commentating, once without. I had Charlo winning, I had him winning over Harrison, but it's like everyone is losing their damn mind telling me I'm wrong. And so I'm going to go back, watch it again, just to figure out, who's right and who's wrong. Okay. So just so you guys know, I might be wrong. Hey, I don't always get it right. Now, okay, I'm going to read you guys the headlines, give you all the details between Golovkin and Charlo, what's going on. And, by the way, why is Charlo demanding a fight with Canelo and Gennady Golovkin after a performance like that? He steps up in front of the boxing world, arms stretched high, and demands a fight against Canelo or Gennady Golovkin. And then you have the WBC protecting Canelo in more than one ways, and we'll get into that too. But look, guys, check it out. Counter Punch Boxing Talk. Go to Facebook. Join the group, Counterpunch Boxing, not the like page. Forget about the LIKE like page. Go to the actual group. Send a request. I'll let you in. We can chit chat about boxing. So, but yeah, where do we start? I told you guys I believe Jermall Charlo is the future of the middleweight division. I no longer believe that. And you could probably say, look, well, wait a minute. Everyone has a bad night. He could have been off that night. It was like the whole Fox premiere, that kind of thing. It was a big deal. His brother just got robbed in his eyes, in Jermall's eyes. Jermall had just been robbed, so he was maybe shaken up. There's a lot of excuses, but I don't buy any of it, okay? I believe both guys, win, lose, or draw, they both got exposed, okay? So, I guess maybe I was wrong by saying that, I felt the Charlo-Harrison fight was a robbery. Because, even if he won, he showed way too many vulnerabilities, way too many weaknesses, way too many flaws in that fight. Chief among them, right? Constantly chasing the knockout. Putting yourself in harm's way because you want to knock someone out. I mean, look, that's like the lazy man's way out of boxing. We all know that. Sure, we love a great knockout. I love it. You do. It's like what it makes boxing go round, right? It makes the world of boxing go round. Knockouts, so highlights, right? But a good fighter, they know they can't chase it all night, and that's what he did. And because of that, he paid. He paid the price. So that's what I think happened. But with Jermall, though, what I saw in the Korobov fight, Man, it changed everything I thought. And then I started thinking back on other fights, that he'd been in, and I can see, like, if I'm a coach, I can see what I need to do to beat this guy. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. And then I think about even an older Gennady Golovkin, with the experience and all that, he would annihilate this dude, completely destroy him, so, and Canelo would too, you take, pick your poison, right? Canelo or Triple G or Danny Jacobs or any top tier middleweight for that matter will beat this guy. I mean, and like I said, unless he had just this incredibly off night and we're all going to be fooled and, he's going to get this spectacular win over this A-level boxer, I doubt it. I highly doubt it. And look, you guys know the Charlo twins, they're from my backyard, from my hometown. Like, I'm rooting for these guys, right? It's just kind of supporting my local fighters. But I'm going to be honest at the same time, and they got a long way to go. And I think their biggest problem is their temper, their ego, their temperament. They've got the body, the physicality, the strength, the knowledge. I mean, it's there, it's improving. They've got it all. But you saw the way Jermall acted after Harrison said, look, I'll give you a rematch. He was trying to be respectful, and Charlo ran over there running his mouth, and his coach had to pull him off like, some gangster thug. I mean, that's the kind of shit, that mentality right there is what it's going to be the end of their career. They need to humble themselves, right? And they need to work up the ladder, I mean, don't fake it till you make it. You can't fake it till you make it, right? And that's exactly what they're doing, so and it's unfortunate. By the way, I'm going to be covering Spence Garcia as press and another fight that I'm going to be covering. I'll announce to you guys soon. I'm waiting for my credentials to get approved, so I don't want to announce it yet. It's a Golden Boy event. But look, this is a little bit old. Oscar De La Hoya. I'm freaking tired of these so-called PBC fighters cherry picking all the time and not taking or thinking of their legacy rather than a quick buck. Okay, and I just want to take you back just a few months so you kind of get a feel for the whole picture, right? You never really wanted to put a Charlo in with your cash cow. Instead, you guys fought Kirkland in Houston. Retweet at Oscar De La Hoya. When he's talking about tired of them cherry picking. And I was there. And back then, look, we didn't even hardly know who the Charlo brothers were back then. I mean, I actually covered the Kirkland fight as press, and I was there. Ringside, through the whole thing, through the media event. I even went to a damn grocery store to a meet and greet with Canelo, and no one was talking about Charlo back then, and I do mean no one. Like, out of thousands of people, there was not one single person that mentioned the name Charlo back with the James Kirkland Canelo fight. So that's ridiculous right there. I don't understand why he would say some dumb shit like that. But now let me fast forward a little bit right here. Okay, now we're talking about the WBC, right? The WBC to order Gennady Golovkin to fight unbeaten American jermall Charlo. Winner faces Canelo Alvarez. Okay, so now a lot of you guys are claiming that the WBC is protecting Canelo. They're putting all the killers against each other while Canelo fights, these whoever, Rocky Fieldings, right? So, it's like they're pitting the best against the best. And meanwhile, Canelo is over here making, billions of dollars on DAZN, so, and you're probably right to think that. So, now let me see if I can find it. As a result, the governing body recently laid out a path for Triple G to earn a third shot at Canelo, which would see him fight the current WBC interim champion, Jermall Charlo, for the right to become a mandatory... Man, that must burn. If you're Gennady Golovkin, I mean, that must set you on fire to know that the first fight you won, the second fight you won, you got robbed twice, not once, but twice. Okay, now the second fight, maybe, look, I might have been cool with a draw. Maybe, depending on what day of the week, depending on my mood, maybe, right? But the first fight was a clear Triple G victory. A clear Triple G victory, okay? There's no way in hell, unless you're biased or stupid, you thought he lost that fight, right? And Canelo knows it. And look, if you're Canelo, how can you ride a victory? I mean, how can you ride it when you know you lost? Like, look, I'm a stand-up dude. If I know I lost, I'm like, yeah, I lost. Hey, the judges gave it to me, but I feel I lost. I mean, why can't these boxers just be a man and say that shit? You know what I mean? So, Right here, Canelo was allowed a voluntary defense against Rocky Fielding, which took place last week. 27-0 unbeaten Charlo is scheduled by Matt Korobov, and we know what happened there. The ruling, that's not the right one, sorry. Yeah, here we go, right here. Okay. If the 36-year-old signs up with Showtime, a fight with Charlo, who is already on the network, could be easy to make. If he goes elsewhere, he may opt to forego the WBC's option and pursue another route. Okay, the order goes out for the fight, and the date for purse bids, in case there is no agreement, is set. Sullivan continued explaining the upcoming process. Sorry, he says, so they start negotiations, and if there's no agreement, we go to a purse bid. Okay, if either fighter decides not to participate in the process, then everything stops and we have to look into the next ruling. Okay, so again, the WBC really forcing their hand here, trying to put together a fight, basically, to see who's going to fight Canelo, who's going to hit the Canelo lottery. So, but here's another plan. Here's plan B. So Golovkin can skip the whole WBC Charlo thing. It says right here, they have also been suggesting in the media that Gennady Golovkin could team up, or Golovkin's team could potentially try to leapfrog this arrangement by bypassing the WBC to make a direct deal for the Canelo Alvarez trilogy fight to happen next. Okay. While this clearly would not be to Jermall Charlo's liking, the governing body would probably approve the scenario according to their president. It said that would go to the WBC Board of Governors. If there's a request for a Canelo-Golovkin fight, we would do a vote. Okay, Sullivan said. My personal opinion from experience is that we would accept for that fight to take place. So right here, you have the WBC, and I think maybe they're just trying to do right by Charlo, because they're trying to say, look, Charlo, we're telling you, and Golovkin, we want you two guys to fight to see who gets Canelo, okay? But they're also saying, out of the other side of their mouth, right, like one side of their mouth says one thing, the other side of their mouth they're saying, but, if both, Canelo and Team Golovkin want a third fight, we're cool with it. We're cool either way. So it's odd to me. Like, if you're cool either way, then why, I don't know, just step aside? Like, what the hell, right? It makes no damn sense at all. It's like these sanctioning bodies, like Bob Arum complains about, they try to be matchmakers, right? And I understand it. To a degree, I understand why Canelo gets so irritated with these guys, especially the WBC, because it's like they're constantly trying to, like, bully these guys into doing shit, It's crazy to me. So, I mean, like I said, on one hand, I get it. On the other hand, I don't, so, but that's my personal opinion on it. So I don't know, guys, what do you think? I mean, it's such a mess right now, right? But like I said, Charlo gets destroyed. Look, here's what Charlo needs to do. He needs to go back to the drawing board, go back to the gym, sit down with his coach, figure out, what did we do wrong? What went wrong? How can we change it? What can we do to repair what is broken? That's the mindset, not, oh, I got robbed, I beat his ass and I'll beat his ass and give me this guy and give me that guy. Well, you're going to get knocked out, dude. You're going to get knocked out. You're going to have a short-lived career, and no one is going to know the name Charlo in 12 months, in 12, 14 months from now. People are going to forget who in the hell you are. So, he really, really needs to take a hard look in the mirror right now and realize, he's not some big shit, King Dick like he thinks he is, right? He thinks he's like, king of the hill, and he's not. He's simply not. Okay? Now, maybe he could be, but right now, he's not.